Hello and welcome to Quartz Like Your Car Brochure channel, and today, Ford Fridays, we'll be looking at the Ford F150 10th generation. Welcome back, and if you're new to Quartz Like, we look at car brochures from around the world 3 times a week, so if you're interested in that sort of thing, please consider subscribing. Anyway, back to Ford Fridays. Ford Fridays every Friday, we pick a Ford to have a look at. Today is the turn of the F150. Now the F150 was first introduced, or the 10th generation F150 I should say, was first introduced in January 1996 for the 1997 model year and ran all the way till 2004, and was quite a radical and substantial change for the F150. So let's have a look at today's brochure and see how that moved the game on. Okay, so here's the brochure we're looking at, and it's a particularly early one for the 10th generation. Actually, it's first introducing this 10th generation F150. It says at the top there, the all-new 1997 Ford F150, and like I say, first introduced in January 1996, although this particular brochure is even earlier than that. It's showing a date of December 1995 to first show how it was introduced and what spec levels you could get at this very early time. And like I say, it was a drastic change for the F150, which we'll have a look at in a moment. It certainly went all round here, which was, must have been quite controversial at the time. We also ended up with a little bit of a dealer card that fell out when we opened it up, so we'll have a look at that as well. So this particular car brochure looks like it came from Canada, so Rhineland Car Company, Altona, Manitoba, this particular one. And like I say, if I turn the brochure around, I should be able to find that date. There you go, 12/1995. So the very first brochure for the 10th generation F150. So we'll open the brochure up, and yeah, we're using the kind of like the phrase "built Ford tough" at this time. If we open the brochure up, we can see how much a very, very rounded off design it was. So this was really at a time when Ford and other manufacturers were starting to realise trucks were more than one purpose. People were starting to buy trucks as sort of like almost family type vehicles. So they rounded the truck off. But this wasn't just with the trucks. Ford around the world started to really round off a lot of the vehicles they had, all the way around the world. So Ford AU, Ford UK, around the 90s, around this sort of time, there was a lot of unusual shapes and rounded lights, etc. So it wasn't just this new truck, but when this truck came out, it must have been very controversial, and we'll show you the 9th generation just to show you how much that changed. So I'll pop a little bit of a picture up there, and we can see the 9th generation is what we really think of as being a truck. But kind of like Ford took one step back when they went to the 11th generation. If we look at that, they kind of like went more big and square again. So this was quite an unusual variation of the F150. In this brochure, it's showing it both as a single cab as well as this sort of like extended cab with sort of like a pop-out window. And unusually on this one, on the curb side, there was a third door to just about squeeze in. And yeah, it must have been a very tight squeeze for anyone to sit back there for sure. Later on, they thought that, this is such a good idea having this third door. They had a fourth door, so both doors opened later on. I think that was 1999 when they had the fourth door as well. And then in 2001, that move to make trucks more of a family vehicle came in 2001, where they actually came out with a crew cab, so a proper full door at the back, and less space in the bed of the truck. And kind of like that's the theme that continues. So today, these big trucks, crew cab trucks, have got very small beds, lots of room for people. They've turned into more like a people carrier. And, you know, as big Ford cars have disappeared, these have kind of like taken over as the modern people carrier, or the modern van, so to speak. But anyway, we'll read some of this text and then we'll look through some of the brochure. So it says here, work or play, have it your way. After 30 years of building Canada's best-selling pickup truck, we've come out with an all-new Ford F-Series, the 1997 F150. It's longer and has a wider stance, has more power and V8 payload, plus more safety and convenience features than ever before. And is this new F150 tough? With over 6.4 million kilometres, 4 million miles of torture testing under its tyres, you bet it's tough. So it then starts talking about this new Super Cab. The new F150 Super Cab is exceptionally versatile. It's the only extended cab pickup that comes with a standard third door and offers a 40-60 rear split bench seat. Above, the XLT Super Cab 4x4 in black clear coat with 4x4 off-road equipment group and other optional equipments shown. And we'll have a look at some of those different levels of trim later on. So we then get a nice image of this sort of regular cab, you know, what we more think about when we think about trucks. A nice long bed, a much more practical vehicle as a truck, a simple two-door, in this case a four-wheel drive version. And like I say, it must have been quite controversial with this rounded front, a more like car-like front than the traditional more squared off trucks that we thought of until this time. And particularly, it was a brave move really by Ford, because really truck buyers are a very conservative bunch. You know, you just change an indicator and everyone complains. So there must have been lots of talk about this when it was released, although personally I actually really like this design. Let's have a look at some of this information. It goes on to say toughness. It's a new standard V6, the most powerful in its class. The new Triton V8 with the higher available payload in its class. The largest pickup box by volume, a fully boxed front frame for greater strength, and new floor pan cross members. Stronger anti-corrosion measures too, for longer lasting value. We wrote the book on toughness. The 1997 F150 is a whole new chapter, and when it was launched there was only two engine choices, the 4.2 litre V6 or the 4.6 litre V8. Now later on in 1997 they did also release a 5.4 V8 as well. It then tells us a bit about this regular cab. So like the Super Cab, the new F150 regular cab is improved. It has more storage space behind the front seat than before and has more headroom than any other full-size pickup. Above, the XLT 4x4 in black clear coat with some optional equipment shown. You could also get this model, referred to as the F150 Fleur side. If your new 10th generation F150 wasn't curvy enough, you would get this even curvier model. I guess a little less practical, as you would lose a little bit in the bed. But we'll have a look at some of this information nevertheless. So it tells us the new F150 Flare side is as stylish as it is tough, with a unique flared box, rear bumper and tail lights. Flare side comes in regular cab or Super Cab, 4x2 or 4x4. The picture that we just showed above there is the XLT regular cab 4x4 showed in dark Toreador red clear coat metallic with available 4x4 off-road equipment group and other optional equipment. Get to this page that looks at the engines. It also kind of like folds out as well to give like this nice sort of x-ray shot of the engine within it. And like I say, two engine choices at this time. The 4.2 V6 and also this 4.6 litre V8. And then this clever little picture kind of like shows us how this third door actually opened. So if we open the page, it gives you an idea how that sort of like suicide door opens up, and you can see very little room really for passengers, but certainly a little bit of extra space. But like I said, it was a move to make these trucks more and more family friendly, and like I say, in 2001 we got a proper full door at the back there to make it more of a family friendly vehicle. A little bit of a shot just showing the space you've got back there, with sort of, you can fold that back seat and make it more of a load space. And then we turn the page, we get another various different shots and images, so let's zoom in on some of those. And we get this sort of like work type view, and you can certainly see there is somebody in that back seat. You know, various work shots, this time a single cab. Bit of a moody image, you know, you're locking, tailgate. You know, a little bit of rubber on top of there to stop, you know, load scratching the top of the bed, etc., etc. Sort of typical sort of like working images. We then get your interior shot with your, you know, at this time essential cup holders, showing a little bit of an idea of the seating at the back there, and then we open that up and we can see, you know, a bit of equipment. You could fold one side down, etc. And then we get this dash shot, so we can see how these trucks turned. This is very much, you could recognize this from a car, so they tried to make it more of a car interior, you know, showing a little family, showing, you know, hey, trucks can now be family vehicles as well. And then we come to a page entitled After Strength, New Features. So let's have a look at some of these features we get now. So we've got halogen headlamps are aerodynamically designed. Fog lamps are included in the 4x4 off-road equipment group. And available auto lamp system with 6-way power driver seats for XLT and Lariat turns the headlamps on and off automatically. XLTs, you know, and Lariat are the top of the range trims. We've then got the design of the outside mirrors contributes to the F150's aerodynamic shape. The mirrors are power actuated in XLT and Lariat. And fuel, engine temperature, oil pressure gauges and voltmeter are standard. XLT and Lariat also include a tachometer. Then we got that very useful sliding rear window, so near the rear high mount stop lamp is the cargo box light that makes loading or unloading at night convenient. And interval wipers are standard in the XLT and Lariat. Their timing rate automatically adjusts to the engine speed. Along with the quality of your Ford stereo system, you have large, easy to operate controls located in the new F150's ergonomic center pod. And then the Super Cab, if we can just tune in on that, the Super Cab's quarter windows can be flipped out for added ventilation. XLT and Lariat have privacy quarter and rear window glass. Nice little image of that all-important cup holder. Your instrumentation, your switches for the power windows. So the door panel shows the form follows function philosophy that created the new F150, showed in the XLT Lariat door panel with map pockets, lower panel carpeting, grab handles and curb light. And we've also got some of the controls and adjustments for the seating. Then we get dealer accessories, something that became more and more common. You know, as soon as you release your vehicle, you've got accessories straight away, so you can spend a little bit more money. So starting off with this air deflector, to keep bugs off the windscreen, it says. And then you can even have, which I've never seen on one of these actually, this sort of like cover, to protect from paint finish, which was always a strange thing really, because as soon as you took it off, you just had scratches from the actual thing that was supposed to protect it. But there we go. I think that's kind of like gone out of fashion now. These very sort of rounded running boards to match your very curvy truck. Your tonneau cover, bed liner covers, and various little nets and that to keep things in one place. We've also got the features and options of each different spec, so we'll zoom in and have a look at that. So 4 models available at this time: the Standard, the XL, the XLT, and the top of the range Lariat. S meaning standard equipment, of course. If there's an O, that means optional. If there's a P, that means preferred equipment or package feature. I'm not going to go through all this, but I'll just move the camera down. You can of course pause the screen at any time if you do want to look at anything in particular. We then get the equipment packages that you could have on each model. So things like the preferred equipment package, which would be 800A, styled steel wheels and chrome step bumpers. It also gives us kind of like an idea of the different models as well. So that's the XLT Supercab 4x4 in bright red clear coat. Next we have something called the Preferred Equipment Package 805, so air conditioning, electronic AM FM stereo. As we go down, we get another preferred package, the 810 speed control tilt steering wheel, aluminium, or I should say aluminum wheels, I guess, as we look at an American car, style with black sidewall tyres, 6-spoke with outline white letter tyres. And then we get a look at this model, the XLT regular cap in black clear coat 4x4. And then we get the top one, the Lariat preferred equipment, so lower two-tone paint, 6-way power driver's seat and auto lamp system. And then we go look at this Lariat 4x2, so just a 2-wheel drive one. You can certainly see straight how it sits lower down. This colour is Pacific Green. If we pull back from the brochure, this actually does fold back again to give even more information, and indeed the colours. So we'll have a look at the colours and the different wheel choices at the time. So we got this dark Toreador red clear coat and this quite unusual Pacific Green clear coat. I quite like that. Maybe that might have been the colour I might have chosen. Moonlight blue clear coat, Oxford white clear coat, Portfolio blue clear coat, light saddle clear coat, teal clear coat, black clear coat, a bright red, and a silver frost. One thing really is what a lovely colour choice for a truck. I mean, some cars today don't have that sort of lovely choice of colours, do they? We've also got these different sort of wheel choices as well, which are very interesting. It pretty much goes from the left as being like a 16-inch steel wheel, and another steel wheel. Then we go to the aluminium 16-inch wheels, and then the far right I think is a 17-inch cast aluminium with a chrome hub. Features and specifications, and like I said, besides all on different variant trim levels, you've also got a choice of whether you want it as a 4x2 or a 4x4. And then get to the payload and towing figures. Again, I'm not going to read all this out, but certainly you can pause the screen if you want to look at anything in particular. We get something called the flare side payload package selector and the maximum trailer weights for each version. And then the back page is, your typical roadside assistance, etc, etc. One thing interesting that did come with this brochure is a little bit of a printout. Looks like somebody was trying to choose their F150, so we might as well have a look at that as well. Okay, so they look like they were trying to choose an F150 four-wheel drive version SS. Not sure what that means, possibly the standard model. SC, I presume, means the super cab, and it was $26,195. And it was an early one, the 97 model year, in that Toreador red with a vinyl bench seat. The date on this is the 23rd of May 1996, so a very early 10th generation F150. So there we go, that brings us to the end of today's Ford Fridays and the F150. Please let me know in the comments what you think of this particular truck, good or bad. Always interesting to hear. But for now, we'll say thank you so much for watching, have a great weekend, and we'll see you very soon. Take care and goodbye.